Texas history is rich with battles won and missions carried out by men and women of the Texas Military Forces who served yesterday, today, and will continue to do so in the future. From the militia of the past to the modern warriors of today, our state and country are grateful for their service. Although there were several battles prior, it wasn't until 1836 when James Fannin and nearly 400 Texans were executed by the Mexicans. Thus, the Battle of San Jacinto was won in one of the most decisive battles in Texas history. On March 2, 1836, the Texas Declaration of Independence was signed and an interim government formed for the newly created Republic of Texas. The Texas Congress first met in Austin, but war was far from over. Continued battles included the Battle of Plum Creek, the Texan Santa Fe Expedition, and in 1842, Sam Houston authorized Alexander Somerville to lead a retaliatory raid into Mexico, where the troops briefly took the border towns of Laredo and Guerrero. Finally, in 1845, U.S. President James Polk signed legislation making Texas the 28th state of the United States. As a result, the Mexican-American War ignited over claims to Texas boundaries. The Rio Grande River became Texas' southern boundary. In 1861, Texas seceded from the Union, but was readmitted in 1870. Reconstruction continued, and relative peace descended onto Texas. On October 4, 1876, the opening of the Agricultural and Mechanical College of Texas first paved the way for higher education, not to tame the fierce Texans, but to teach them to work the land and start businesses. The lessons learned from bloody battles lost and won have laid the groundwork for the Texas military forces of today. After 9/11-2001, traditional warfare came to an end, when the country was attacked on multiple fronts by terrorists, not representing a nation but an ideology. As a result, the role of the Texas military forces and reserves changed dramatically. Historically, National Guardsmen were deployed when active duty personnel were depleted, but since 9/11 it has become the premier force. The Texas Military Forces has deployed more than 27,000 soldiers and airmen in support of the global war on terror in Iraq, Afghanistan, and has also become the force of choice for the governor before, during, and after natural and man-made disasters. Together with first responders, the Texas Military Forces are usually some of the first men, women, and equipment on scene. Our C-130s have evacuated special needs patients when their hospital or nursing home was in the path of a storm. Our rotary wing aviators have conducted search and rescue and wildfire suppression and have provided shelter, food, and water for those in need. Our civilian employees have cut state active duty orders and served as the rear detachment, and to them we owe the steady resolve and continuity of services. Hurricanes challenged our tenacity when two storms in particular battered Louisiana and Texas. Katrina struck the Gulf Coast in August and was one of the most costly and one of the 5 deadliest hurricanes. Rita in September 2005 was the 4th most intense Atlantic hurricane ever recorded. Again, Texas military forces were there. In the years to come, many storms followed, but Katrina and Rita were the catalyst for better disaster preparedness and recovery. The Governor's Division of Emergency Management laid out the role of the Texas Military Forces during times of disaster and allowed for states to assist other states during a declared state of emergency. Texas Military Forces missions include Operation Jumpstart, which manages and assists border patrols with the flow of illegal immigrants and narcotics into the United States across our southern border. Operation Lone Star provides medical services to the poorest among us in the Valley. This is the largest humanitarian relief effort in the United States to date. And the oral rabies vaccination dropped from the air protect our agriculture. The seemingly impossible is made possible, the overwhelming list of responsibilities is managed, and afterward our people dust themselves off and move on. The Texas Air National Guard core values are described as service before self, integrity first, and excellence in all we do. The Texas Army National Guard's 7 core values are loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. The Texas State Guard members use as its motto, Texans serving Texans, and our civilian state employees are there to support us during defense support to civil authorities when resourcing becomes critical and time is of the essence. Every soldier, airman, state guardsman, and civilian employee are invaluable to the success of the Adjutant General's vision. which is to remain a fully deployable, diverse, and professional total force capable of full spectrum operations and response to state and nation. Our missions may change, men and women retire, younger generations take our place, but there has never been a time in history that Texans did not stand up and fight for freedom. The modern warrior may have laser-guided missiles, and battles may be broadcast live from the battlefield with as much won or lost in the media as in theater. Bottom line is freedom comes at a price, and today's men and women have one thing in common with the volunteer militia who fought with muskets and sheer determination against insurmountable odds: their willingness to sacrifice on the altar of liberty. Texas military forces shall certainly rise to the challenge, as their brothers and sisters of the past so boldly took the mantle of patriotism and carry the colors of Texas proud.